Yo, fight fans, Seattle Mike Fights with Friends, Wyatt Matheson here. Let's break down the next fight on UFC 300. It is former PFL champion and judo gold medalist Kayla Harrison taking on former UFC women's bantamweight champion Holm. How do you see this one going down, Wyatt?
Well, before we get to that, I have a bit of an issue with this fight. Um, I don't like the fact that somebody's been away and hiding for many years, and then all the people that were problematic, Chris Cyborg, Amanda Nunes, who we got now, Rocky Pennington is the bloody champion in the UFC, and then you just pop up out of nowhere, hey guys, I'm here. Here we go. Like, no, that doesn't work for me. And then you add to to all of this that Kayla has been saying since I think it was 2018, I can beat everybody. I can beat Amanda Nunes, no problem. I mean, it wasn't no problem, but she thought she could beat Nunes. She
Yeah.
definitely thought she could beat Chris Cyborg. And
Yeah.
she said she's here waiting. She can't make 45, but she can make 55. Everybody's afraid of me. They won't come here. One, you're in PFL. Two, nobody fights at 55. And you said it's impossible, quote, impossible for you to make 45. I'm not going to do that to myself. But now you can make 35 now that there's no competition because that makes sense. Like, this is ridiculous. And then you add to all of that, oh, I'm gonna beat a legend. The legend is 2 years older than Jim Miller, who fought on UFC fucking 100, dude. Like, you're fighting a 42-year-old woman who lost to Bueno Silva. Do you remember Bueno Silva versus Rocky Pennington? Joke. You're a joke. And now you're coming and you're gonna like, I just can't with this shit. Who's gonna
Respect the
win?
crown. Respect the crown. Two-time judo gold medalist. Possibly the greatest women's athlete if she ends up with a UFC championship
Oh my
ever.
God.
Kayla Harrison is the real deal.
The real Royd King. I
She,
agree. Is she a man? Is she a woman? Nobody knows, but we know she's on the juice. That's what we know.
oh, you think she know? You think you know? So she was on the juice for the Olympics, the highest level testing
The
possible.
highest level testing, WADA testing is way easier to get by than freaking USADA testing. And have you heard of Yoel Romero with his gigantic freaking eyeball tendons in the UFC competing? No problem. Get out of here, man. Growth hormone king competed in USADA, which is 10 times harder than WADA.
And I doubt that PFL has very good testing. I don't even know who they use for testing, but there's a little more to the story than that with Kayla. Yes, she fought at 155. I don't like that. I think she should have fought at 145. She did do a test cut over there in Invicta FC while she was on the PFL roster. I think she had the one fight at 135. I believe it was. Was it
No, no, no.
145?
145, and
Okay,
it
it
was
was 145. I couldn't remember if it was 145 or 135. So, yeah, that is a bit strange that she can make 135 now.
now that there's no competition, no problem. I can make 135. What are you guys talking about?
But PFL, you're talking about you're fighting 5, 6 times in a tournament a year. Some of these fights are so close together. Like I don't know why a top level fighter would want to make that many weight cuts that quickly. That seems like a lot. Obviously, she was getting paid very well there, and I believe, I'm not positive, but I believe it's the first time she's been eligible to come to the UFC because PFL had a matching clause that extended her contract out. So,
Fair enough. I
so
mean, just the utter nonsense that she talked before about being able to beat the best fighters in the entire world just to not and make an excuse via weight cutting, saying she can't make 145 and now she can make 135. Like, there's just like a lot of hypocrisy here. And obviously, the freaking man thing's a joke. I don't even think she looks like a man. But to think she's never done any performance enhancing drugs, that's the real joke. Like, look at her arms, look at her shoulders, look at her traps. Like, it's not hard to tell. That's probably a key factor here onto how she makes 35 is she probably is taking different things. Um, who's going to win this? I mean, I think you're a little bit crazy if you don't give the edge to Kayla, but Holly is so much more skilled. The only problem really is the age.
she's what,
Um,
42, 43 years old?
yeah,
Yeah.
like that's like she might be the oldest fighter in the entire UFC. I don't know, but if she's not, she's top three most
She's
likely.
close, unless Arlovsky got cut. I think he's 55.
That guy is not a UFC fighter. That guy just shows up, gets $500,000, and leaves the building. Like,
I don't blame him. I think it's 800,000. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's just like,
Yeah.
you can't blame him, but he's not a fighter. He's basically just an announcer. He just comes in and says, ah, and then leaves. But Kayla Harrison, I I favor her to win, but the odds are retarded. She should be maybe minus 200 in my opinion. So I mean, I put a little bit of money on Holly right away when she's plus 385 because that just seems crazy to me. I get the age thing. I think it's going to be really interesting to see what Kayla Harrison looks like or how she can compete after making 10 pounds below the impossible weight cut.
Yeah.
But yeah, it should be interesting. Obviously, I'm not a Harrison fan, but clearly you are. So let's see what the fuck happens.
It's a good point on the weight cut. It will be interesting to see how she does making 135, how weak she is. That steers me a little bit away from her, but I mostly agree
she's
with
like
the
minus 500, so you better be freaking crazy confident if you're going to bet her.
Yeah, I mostly agree with the odds. I would bet her at minus 300. I'd bet Kayla at minus
We're a long ways away from minus 300 though.
We're at, what is she? Minus 460. So yeah, I'm not putting $460 down to make 100, but still a 3-1 favorite. I think she's a much better fighter unless she has such a bad weight cut that she pulls a TJ Dillashaw and just has a no chin, and I don't think that's going to be the case. I think Kayla's going to come in and dominate. I don't think the stress is going to be an issue of a first UFC fight.
I don't think she's that good. That's my opinion. I really don't think she's that good.
I think
like
she,
to be fair, the women's division right now is tragic. So yeah, probably gonna be able to win the belt. But like,
she's going to defeat the great Rocky Pennington. Come on.
So yeah, I mean, I think Nunes can come back at whatever she is, 36, 37 years old, and beat her quite easily without training that hard. That's what I think.
All right, my official prediction is Kayla comes in. I think she smokes her. I think she takes her down, grounds and pounds her out in the first round. Kayla Harrison, first round knockout.
All right, my official prediction is Kayla Harrison is a hypocrite and says all this absolute bullshit and randomly comes to the UFC to fight a retired, like, 86-year-old woman, and then she's going to go and say that she's the best in the world now that everybody else is gone. That's my prediction.
Well, maybe that's the way you market a fighter. I don't know.
There you go. I should be your agent, Kayla. Perfect.
All right, everybody, let us know down in the comments. Do you hate Kayla Harrison as much as Wyatt Matheson does? I swear he's going to be sending her a hate mail on the regular. But do you agree with us? Do you think Kayla Harrison wins this? Do you lean towards Holly Holm? How much of a chance do you think she has? Let us know down there in the comments. And check out our other breakdowns on UFC 300. We're doing every single fight. So thank you guys, and we'll see you next time.